Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. My name's Lisa and I'm here to help you unlock the secrets to a happier, more confident and more fulfilling life. In the first 99 episodes, we explored not just practical tools that can elevate your mindset and your life, but also delved into the spiritual aspects like the power of crystals, universal laws and energy healing. Whether you're new or returning, let's continue this inspiring journey of growth and self-discovery together. We have been so conditioned to be productive all the time, but what if the most productive thing you could do for yourself today was close your eyes for 20 minutes? Welcome back to Love in Life. Oh my God, I love a nap, okay? Those who know me, those who follow me on Instagram will know that I love a nap. To me, it's part of my self-care. So last week we talked about the importance of self-care, but how society, social media has actually made it somewhat superficial. One of the things we talked about is how powerful it is to listen to your mind, your body and spirit, and listen to what they need. That is why I love a nap so much. But today we're going to go over why people are reluctant to nap. We are going to look at different cultures when it comes to napping. We're going to look at some of my top tips when it comes to napping. I do like to think I'm a bit of a professional napper. And finally, how we can use napping to bring ourselves into alignment. Before we get into all of that, I just want to, as always, mention and give massive thanks to the place with the most amount of downloads this week. And that was actually split between two places. The first one is a place I've never really seen showing up at the top before. So there's obviously some new listeners. So hi to people in Croydon. Croydon has never been right at the top of my list of downloads in the past. So welcome to you guys. And then the other place that was split with was Dallas. Why can't I think? Dallas in Texas. So thank you guys for coming back this week if you're here. If you enjoy this episode, if you enjoy any episode, I would please ask you to leave me a review or to share this with people. I've had some lovely messages from people this week saying how much they're enjoying the podcast. The best way you can support me is to leave me a review, is to share this on your story. So please do take a snap of you listening to, however you listen to it, whether you're doing the cleaning, whether you're going out for a walk, whether you're driving, take a screenshot and pop it on your stories and make sure you tag me in it. Right, okay, let's get going. So napping. Let's bust the myth of napping. I often find myself, not so much anymore since I listen to my body more than I ever have, but I have found myself in the past resisting a nap, even though I know that 99% of the time I feel better for having one. And whilst I openly say I love a nap, there is still a stigma that comes with napping. In the back of my head, I'm always like, are people going to think I'm lazy? It's like I don't feel those things if I really truly have a reason for having a nap. So if I'm ill, like last week, obviously I was really ill. Sorry for my nasal sounds last week, by the way, and the coughing and sneezing. I'm feeling loads better this week. Which I massively put down to resting, napping, looking after myself. Anyway, I'm going off. What was I going to say? Yeah, there's still that stigma. So whilst I love a nap, and I do have a lot of naps, I still have to allow myself to have a nap. And why? Why is that? We've been conditioned to see naps as a luxury, or even worse, as lazy. In so many Western cultures, we wear our productivity, we wear busyness as a badge of honour. It's like, yeah, I powered through, and being proud of that, and almost judging people for not doing the same. It's almost like if you're not exhausted, if you're not overwhelmed, you're not doing enough. But when you look at other cultures. So how, like places like Spain and Japan, I'll go into this more in a little while, but they see napping as a sign that you've worked hard. And when you realise that it's this culture that we've got where we see it as lazy, where there's that stigma still attached to it. That feeling is not universal. So somewhere along the way, we have decided that rest means weakness. And this hustle culture that we, in the Western world, this has glamorized pushing through tiredness. So that guilt we feel around napping, it's the way we've been conditioned. So many of us feel guilty when we nap. There might be a fear of being judged and thinking, are they going to think I'm unproductive? Are they going to think I'm lazy? We have that inner critic telling us always that we should be doing more. And then we've got conditioning, being still, resting is lazy. And the thing is, productivity, it's not about how much we can cram into a day. It's about the quality of the energy that we bring to what we do. And think of it this way. You wouldn't expect your mobile phone to run on 5% battery all day, would you? You'd plug it in. So why do we expect ourselves to run on empty? Napping isn't weakness. It's actually one of the strongest things we can do for ourselves, for our minds, our bodies, and even our confidence. So you know when you're in work and you get to lunchtime and you can feel your mind feeling heavy. Maybe you have another coffee or an energy drink to get you through. And then in the afternoon, when you're in meetings, you can't think as straight as you could before lunch. And you can tell that others are feeling this too. Or for those of us who work from home, or for those who are full-time parents, like when you're in the middle of doing something and it's taking longer than it should do. You're like, no, I must finish this before I can stop. And then before you know it, another hour has passed. Then you're like, oh, well, I might as well keep on going now. I might as well carry on. And then by the time the kids are home, you are cranky and you can't be bothered to make tea or dinner, whatever you call it if you're posh. And your mood, your energy has just depleted. And the inspiration for this episode actually came from how I was feeling yesterday. I'd been out the night before and it wasn't a particularly late night. Me and a friend had gone along to this event. I got home at, I don't know, we hang about chatting and having a drink after. I think I got home at about 10 o'clock, which isn't that late. It's just that I'm normally in bed at 8:30. But I was knackered the next day. I woke up in the morning, yesterday morning, I woke up and my eyeballs ached, my neck ached, my shoulders ached. Like, I don't know about you, get to a certain age and like you go past your bedtime and you're fucked the next day. That's what I'm like. So I had no choice but to have a nap yesterday. Actually, that's not true. I did have a choice because many people would think, nope, I can't stop. I've thought it in the past, but I got to lunchtime and I was like, do you know what? I know I need to take a nap. Just 20 minutes and it's going to make me feel a million times better. And it did. And every time I decide to do this, just give myself that 20 minutes. Like we tell ourselves that we haven't got the time, but I have a 20-minute nap and it makes you feel a million times better. I woke up feeling refreshed, more productive than I was in the morning. So let's take a look at the science, like why that is. Why does napping make you feel better or sometimes worse? For some people, it makes them feel worse. Let's look at why. So one of the most fascinating things about napping is that whilst many of us in the Western world see it as lazy, whole cultures actually build their day around it. They build it into their daily lives. So for example, in Spain, you've got the siesta where everything slows down in the afternoon and people recharge before the evenings. It's perfectly acceptable to shut everything down at lunchtime, have a rest and come back in the afternoon. In Japan, there's inemuri. I hope that's right. If you're Japanese, do forgive me. But it literally means being present whilst sleeping. So in Japan, you might see someone sleeping on a train or even at their desk, and it's not frowned upon. In fact, it's seen as a sign of dedication. Some countries even have sleep pods, so you can literally hire a space to nap at lunchtime. I think that was China that does that. Apparently, a number of large US companies like Google, Facebook, and even Ben and Jerry's are encouraging napping at work to increase productivity. So what is actually happening when we nap? Science shows us some amazing benefits. NASA even did a study with their astronauts and pilots and found that a 40-minute nap boosted their performance by 34% and it boosted alertness by 100%. That's huge. But there are some pros and some cons of different lengths of naps. One of the big reasons that napping works is because the way that our sleep cycles are structured. So a full sleep cycle is about 90 minutes and it moves through different stages. So you've got light sleep, you've got deep restorative sleep, and then REM, which is where you are dreaming and your memory processing happens. So when you nap for about 20 minutes, you are staying in the lighter stages of sleep. That's why you wake up feeling refreshed, sharper, more focused. You didn't dip into deep sleep, so you don't feel that groggy. You don't feel heavy when you wake up. That's what works for me. If I do have longer than that, I want to carry on sleeping. I do feel groggy. Some people prefer to have a longer nap, and the benefits of that, a longer nap around 90 minutes, it lets you complete an entire sleep cycle. So apparently from this, you get the benefits of memory consolidation, problem solving, and creativity. It's almost like giving your brain a mini overnight reset. And with the research that I've been doing for this episode, like we try to stick, we all know that we should have 7 to 9 hours sleep. And if you take a nap during the day, you can allocate some of that time to that nap during the day. So it doesn't have to all be taken at night. Do you know what I mean? So if you do like a long nap and if you prefer to have a longer nap, then that does mean that you don't necessarily need as much at night. We all work differently. We all have to trial and error what works best for us. But so if you do have the time, then it's worth testing if that works for you. But the trick is knowing what your body needs. So you have to try all these different things if you're up for testing out napping. So if you've only got a short window, then aim for about 20 minutes for that quick energy boost. When you are completely depleted and can carve out the time. So if you are feeling run down, ill, then you might benefit from a longer nap to complete that cycle. It gives you deeper restoration, but there is a chance that you'll feel groggy after. And like I know some people that say, I can't nap because it makes me feel groggy. Maybe that's because you are napping for too long or not enough. I don't know. Have you tried the different, there are pros and cons of the different amount of time that you can nap. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, don't just write off having a nap because you felt groggy when you've done it in the past. Maybe you had too long. And when you think about these countries, these cultures that prioritize rest and napping, they have built ways to honour these natural dips in our energy, because we all have them, especially in the early afternoon when our bodies naturally want to rest. So we might not close up our shops like they do in Spain for a few hours here in the UK, but giving yourself permission to lean into a short nap is so powerful. And I put out a poll on my Instagram yesterday asking how people feel about napping. Let's just check that now. Actually, I haven't checked the update. Okay, so 33% of people have said they have one every day. That's amazing. Well done, guys. 17% of people have said they don't have time for naps. And 50% have said, I wish I could prioritise myself more. I mean, those two might mix in together a little bit. But think of what they do in Japan. You can close your eyes at your desk and you'll wake up feeling more productive. Even 5 to 10 minutes. I think in Japan, they literally, because it's sleeping while present while sleeping, they are like, how I always laugh, like my nan used to say she was resting her eyes. Resting your eyes is giving yourself that break, that little reset. So think about how honouring that time for yourself, how that ties into how we show up at work, with our families. After a nap, after a rest, you're not just less tired, you're more emotionally regulated. You are clearer in your thinking. You are more patient. You respond rather than react. And that is the real benefit. So let's talk about some tips on how to nap effectively. I think I've got mine nailed. Like I said, my ideal nap time is 20 minutes. And I actually I'll pop the link. I think I must have talked about this in a previous podcast because this is ringing a bell now. But I will pop the link to a nap music that I listen to. I listen to the same one every time, but it's designed to take you through that sleep pattern that I was telling you about. Not the REM, but it is designed, it's got binaural beats, and it is designed to make you feel alert at the end. There is an alarm at the end. That's my next tip as well, is to set an alarm. So find out what is the ideal nap time for you. It might take trial and error, but set an alarm and don't snooze it. Don't be tempted to think, I'll just have a little bit longer. That defeats the point. Even if you feel I need longer at the end of it, just trust yourself, trust the process, and get up, have a stretch, and notice in 5 minutes' time how much more alert you feel now than you did before you had a nap. The best time to nap is the early afternoon. So just after lunch, 1, 2 o'clock. You don't want to leave it till late in the afternoon, obviously, because you don't want it to disrupt your evening sleep pattern. But you don't want to have it too early either. Like our energy naturally dips in the early afternoon. So obviously this is the ideal time to take a quick nap. If you find you do get groggy after a nap, then maybe try drinking a cup of coffee, if you drink coffee, before your nap. And that gives it time for the caffeine to kick in. And it might help you avoid grogginess when you wake up. Like, that is something I have learned in the past. Don't wait until after your nap for a coffee. If you have an afternoon coffee, have it before your nap, and that will just help you feel more alert when you wake up. Make sure that if you're able to, make sure that your nap environment is calm. I prefer low light, so I've got eye masks dotted about everywhere. I've also got these little weighted. Oh, it's lovely. It's got lavender in it. But it's a lavender, like a little mini lavender pillow that is nice to put on your eyes. And if you struggle with heavy eyes when you're tired and need a rest, then I highly recommend those. I can't recommend where to get them from because my friend made me that one, but you can buy them. But just buy a cheap eye mask. Who was I talking to the other day? Someone has got a heated eye mask. What a good idea. Anyway, back to your nap environment. Try and make it cool. Maybe have a blanket over. You don't want it too hot because that might encourage you to want to sleep deeper. Just having it nice and cool, but covering up with a blanket or a coat. If you're able to have a little nap at your desk at work, just cover yourself up with a coat. In Japan, they literally put their heads on their desk. They might even sit up in their chair, and they just know not to disturb each other. They know it's just perfectly acceptable. So start a trend. Start a trend if you work in the office. So have some calming sounds maybe. YouTube has got, I will obviously put the link to the thing that I listen to in the show notes. But on YouTube, there are loads of nap music tracks that are designed to do exactly that. Just find the one that works for you. You could use some crystals to help you do this. Amethyst, I think, is a perfect one for napping. It's good for relaxation. It's good for calming anxiety. So if you've got like so much to do all the time and you find yourself being overwhelmed and anxious because you've got so much to do and you don't want to give yourself time to nap, then amethyst will help you calm that. But it's naturally relaxing as well. So it will help you get the best benefit possible from your nap. Rose quartz obviously is another biggie for me, as you know. I always sleep with the rose quartz under my pillow. But it's the ultimate self-care crystal and it provides comfort as well. So try using those. And in order to drop into that feeling of rest faster, try doing some quick breathing exercises. So one thing I highly recommend is breathing in through your nose for 5 seconds and just breathing out through your mouth or your nose, whatever works for you, for 5 seconds. And doing this 6 times means that you are, for 1 minute, regulating your nervous system. Like, this is one of the proven breathwork techniques that helps you calm your nervous system and just relax into that calm state quickly. We often think of naps as just physical rest, but they are actually so much more than that. Choosing to nap is really about giving yourself permission to pause, permission to honour your body and listen to your body, permission to believe that rest has value, and that you don't have to be burning yourself to the ground all the time. And it's actually going to make you more productive as a result. But that in itself, giving yourself permission, is an act of self-trust, of self-worth. Because when you say, I matter enough to stop for 20 minutes, you are telling your subconscious that your mind, your energy is precious. And tying it into energy, a really powerful way to think of it is that napping isn't just about energy for your body, it's about your vibration. When you're tired, running on empty, you start to attract more chaos. Your energy feels scattered, but when you're rested, you naturally raise your vibration. So you are calmer, you are clearer in the mind, and you are naturally more magnetic. Now think about how that connects to the chakras too. So the root chakra, which is all about safety, stability, when you rest, that gets nourished and you are saying to yourself, I am safe enough to let go. I am safe to rest. I am safe to allow myself priority. The heart chakra, all about love and compassion. It gets open when you show yourself signs of kindness and self-care. Like, again, coming back to prioritizing yourself, your energy. You are clearing any negative energy by allowing yourself to rest and showing yourself that love and care that you deserve. And the third eye, which is all about clarity and intuition, it will feel sharper when you've had a rest. So your mind is already going to be clearer. You are going to be able to tap into your intuition easier by allowing that clarity to restore. So napping is so much more than just having a nap. It's a little reset button when you need it for your energy, for your emotions, even for your manifesting power. So if you've been telling yourself that rest is lazy or napping is lazy or that you haven't got time to nap, I want you to flip that belief and prove yourself wrong. Rest is strength. Rest is alignment. And aligning our energy is what allows us to raise our vibration, to be more positive, to attract more positivity. But you are sending yourself and the universe such a clear message that you're important. Your rest is important. Okay, I'd love to know if I have hit the nail on the head for you or if I have changed the way you feel about napping. Like, does it make you think, yeah, I'm going to give it a go? I'd love to know. Please come over to Instagram and tell me. Jump into my DMs and let me know. If you feel brave enough, then take a little snap and of you getting ready to nap and pop it in your stories and tag me in it. Oh, I would love that. Okay, I'm going to go. It's nearly lunchtime. I'm going to have my lunch and then I'm going to have a nap. But yeah, let me know how you get on. Just a quickie before I go. Don't forget, I have got my self-care giveaway, which is those beautiful skin-fed products and a copy of my gratitude journal and a rose quartz. It's actually my own personal rose quartz that I will cleanse and recharge, ready for you before I send it. Okay, thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to share, leave a review. It helps me massively. Okay, I will see you next week, guys. Let me know how you get on with your naps. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Your feedback helps me reach more amazing people like you, and it means the world to me. And don't forget, you're always welcome to come over to my Facebook group and share what you loved about this episode. Until next time, enjoy the journey and keep loving life.